Good morning, TFR.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's Friday, my dudes.
Thank God it's Friday.
It is Friday, my dudes, TGIF, and welcome to the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio. My name is Josh Corey, and I'm joined this morning by two of my very good friends and co-hosts, starting off with one Mr. Zachary Zabala. You may know him as Good Times for All here on YouTube. Zach, how's your week been?
Hey, Josh. Hey, Walt. Hey, everybody out there in TFR land. Not bad, I guess. Garden beds are done. I got to fill them with get some leaves in there. I found some nice stone steps I'm going to put back there. Man, all that kind of material is really cheap at a lot of these places. I had no idea. I thought it'd be more. At least, I don't know. But the edging and all that kind of stuff, maybe its location, I don't know, but it seems like I remember looking into this stuff when I first started gardening, and it seemed like it was just a lot more money. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, it's all coming together. I'm starting to see it out here in the backyard, like where there's going to be herb gardens and the pole beans and raspberry bushes and all that kind of stuff. It's all fitting into place now.
That's awesome. That's exciting as all hell.
Yeah, I love it when you see it first and then you start making it. And at first you get kind of discouraged a little bit because it doesn't look anything like what you want it to look like in your head, But then as it starts happening and that piece isn't like an imaginary piece in your head anymore. It's there. The garden beds are there. Now I can start plotting a little bit more and stuff. Yeah, I love it.
It's going to be an exciting springtime.
Yes, it is. Oh, it's been too long since I've planted a seed. Way too long.
Well, somebody who's planting seeds every single week, Mr. Walter Johnson, also known as Flat Earth Head here on the YouTubes. Walter, how are you doing, sir? You're muted. And you're on your phone, so.
Yes, I'm there. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I'm having lots of fun this morning with my internet. Don't know. I've reset it twice now, and it keeps reconnecting with no internet, so no clue. So I'm going to hang loose and back till I get back on with my computer because I don't want to sit here holding the phone the whole show. So, hi, everybody. I'll see you in a few.
That's a real bullshit. It's too early for that kind of crap. Just connect the internet. What is it with internet providers?
So how's your week been going, Josh? Back to work?
Back to work.
In a new house?
In a new house, yeah. I'm exhausted for what it's worth.
Gotta be exhausted, man.
I am tired. I got home from work the last 2 nights and just beat. And I've only got about 20 minutes worth of sunlight when I get home anyway, so I don't know. It's going to be a busy weekend. I can say that much. We have TVs to put up, all sorts of installation things we need to do. All the little knick-knack, bric-a-brac bullshit that we have that needs to get put up that makes a house a home. We really have yet to do. But interestingly enough, I was at work the other day and got a text from Dixie. Apparently she was had let the dogs out. And whoever put on the deck did it just as cheap as possible. So there's like oversized gaps between the boards on the deck. Like they're just trying to save on lumber or something. I don't know. But Shibby, the big dog, is a little hesitant to step out and to be on the deck. So he doesn't like to go out there and he doesn't like to come up the steps to get on the deck. So he was down there and she thought maybe he was hung up after she'd let him out. So he wasn't coming inside. She went out to go see what was going on and forgot that the step down onto the deck out of the back door. So when she stepped as though it were level. And when her foot hit, she rolled her ankle, sprained her good ankle, and is back on crutches now. So that's a thing. Yeah, now she's got two, I guess one's recovering from the sprain over the summer. And then now this one's fresh on her good ankle. So yeah, she's doing her best to keep her spirits up. She was pretty upset there for a while, pretty down on herself. Because she's so limited in what she can do again.
It'll heal. At least it wasn't as bad as the other ankle one.
Yeah, that's no kidding. Yeah, it even said if she felt better today or yesterday, I guess, than she did the day before, which is a far cry from the other ankle, which I think got increasingly bad for about a week.
Yeah. Oh, poor thing. But Sibby was okay, right?
Yeah, she was fine. He's a derp. He's just a big old lunk. But you're talking about the.
So how are the dogs doing? Are they getting used to it? Are they following you guys around everywhere you go at the house?
Not too bad anymore. Well, because at the old house, there was such limited space. It was basically me and Dixie, 2 dogs, and a cat in the bedroom because there just really wasn't any place else to go. Dogs couldn't really walk around. There wasn't any other place to lay. So they were just always in there with us. So I think they're really enjoying having space to roam without feeling crowded. But it seems like they're doing good. I think they're starting to get a little territorial, perhaps. So we'll see.
Like, oh, this is mine.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, I think it took them a little while. They kept looking up at us, wondering when we're going to go home.
Yeah.
Why are we here? When's it time to leave? But no, I think they're catching on. I think they've accepted the fact that this is it now. So, I don't know. We'll see. We really need to get a fence up. I'd love to be able to let them out, not on a leash.
Yeah.
Shibby would probably be okay. As long as no wildlife came up, he might chase it for a little bit. But Esme's too feral at heart.
Yeah, she'd be over the fence.
Well, we had like a regular little 4-foot chain link fence at the old house. And yeah, she'd
jump.
She'd just hop up and perch on the top like a bird and then jump down on the other side. And once she decided to, there was no catching her unless you were right there defending the fence like a goalpost. There's just, she was gone. If you're lucky, she'd only be gone 45 minutes. It wasn't long after we first got her, I suppose. This might have been 2 or 3 years ago. She took off during the wintertime. And because we weren't too far from a highway and busy roads and stuff like that, we were all freaked out because she's just out running and not the brightest tool in the shed. You know, she doesn't have a whole lot of canine common sense.
Yeah, she's happy. She's excited.
She's feral. Yeah, she doesn't have any self-control, so I swear she almost jumped off this back deck going after a deer. If she had not been tied in, she may have jumped off the deck. But it's not too bad. I think she's... Well, the plan is just to get a taller fence. That's all there is to it. We just have to get at least a 6-foot chain link fence and hope she doesn't climb that. Because she is part Belgian Malinois. And if you ever spent any time watching Belgian Malinois videos on the internet, on the YouTubes, you can see that they jump, they climb, they walk tight ropes. They're maniacs. They're just, well, it's her personality. Like when they attack, a Belgian Malinois just sort of throws themselves at the target and will latch on, but will use that body weight and the momentum of them lunging to help bring their prey down. It's just, they just sacrifice their entire body. And that's just sort of how Esme is too. When she wants something, we tried to.
Last play of the Super Bowl, she's getting it.
Kind of, yeah. When we first brought her home, we tried to keep her in a little kennel just to get her, used to the being here and all that stuff. But she so hated being trapped up. She tore up her front paws, the nails on her front paws, and the actual kennel door, and the carpet, and the padding underneath. I mean, she just sat there for hours, scratching at the door, trying to get out. It was quite a mess when we got home, but she's just single-minded in her focus. And once she decides she's going to do something, it's really hard to distract her from
like that. Tried to get through a garage door, a steel garage door, aluminum garage door. One time. Yeah, he doesn't like being put into places by himself.
Mm-hmm.
He ran down to the river last night. I let him out to go bathroom, flip the light on. It was late, like about 9:00. Late for me. And I'm sitting there waiting, 30 seconds. I saw him like run off into the woods a little bit. I figured he was, doing his business. Minute goes by, whistle, nothing. Another 30 seconds go by. I'm yelling his name now. I had to go get my shoes on, get the portable sun, and I started walking down the hill and flashed it, and he's out on the rocks in the river. I was screaming his name. I knew he could hear me. So I don't know what he chased down there or what. I'm waiting for the sun to come up to go look around down there. See what is down there that made him go down there.
Giant
He's
footprint.
never, ever done that before. But yeah, I just came running up, tail wagging. What are you doing? Do this shit in the middle of the night when I can't see anything. So yeah, we had a chat last night.
Well, I hope he's learned his lesson.
So did you see another satellite fell? This time, I believe it was in the United States. They're saying the Navajo Nation, somewhere on their land. They found another satellite intact. It wasn't like a meteor that crashed to the ground at, maximum velocity speed. What is that called?
Terminal
velocity. Yeah, nothing like that. It was all intact, a nice big metal box.
Yeah, that just doesn't make any sense to me.
No, you would think that if it fell from space, that it would have a little bit more of an impact and maybe get broken up a little bit or something. I mean, when we see space shuttles come in and all that kind of stuff, they're on fire and, all this crazy shit. No, this looks like it floated down to the ground.
Yeah, that boggles my mind because they created special weaponry, so they say, to be carried on a satellite so that you could drop this huge kinetic energy weapon. A huge tungsten rod will just fall from the sky. No rockets needed because it's far enough away. It's high enough up because it's in a satellite that as this tungsten rod falls, when it hits the ground, it acts like an explosive bomb. And it just, all that velocity and momentum is transferred and just causes all this death and destruction. But the satellite itself manages to land perfectly intact. I'm not buying it. Something smells.
I mean, the solar panels are all intact. It looks like I'll send this to you. I'll drop it in chat.
I see Walter made it back.
Hey,
Ish?
Walt.
Marginally at best. I don't know what's going on. I've rehooked and watched my internet connection disappear 4 times now. So this is all still fallout from our better new plan we got put on a week ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Money well spent.
Yeah. Now I'm back on the old plan. That was the plan I told people here in my home to not change. But we all had a miscommunication apparently. And so now we're going back to the old plan. But we now have new old equipment to make the new old plan work. And apparently the new old plan isn't working quite like I want it to right now. So I'll be on the phone again today, it looks like, because literally while I'm sitting here listening to y'all talk for the last 15 minutes, you have disappeared twice since I've gotten it reconnected. So I'll most probably be popping away again or mid-sentence or whatever. But for now, I'm here. Shout out to Dax in chat, starting us off with some popcorn for the morning, which I guess, corn pop.
Joe Biden. Little kids rubbing hairy legs. Sure.
But good morning to you all there in chat. I have yet to start typing. Oh, I see what's going on because I couldn't figure out what's happening. I'm still signed into the Iron Realm account from doing something I did. Who knows?
We're changing my show descriptions from Tuesday.
Probably.
So is Joe Biden the first president-elect to start making policy while he's not a president yet?
Probably not. But
No, I bet it's happened before.
Is he making policy? I don't know.
Yeah, he's telling everybody about the policies he's going to be making the day he's sworn in, mandating masks and vaccines and all this stuff. He's gonna change the world.
Sniffy Joe.
He's insane. I mean, they're all insane, but I don't know. It's like they pick the craziest, nuttiest ones and like, let's see if we can get them to vote for this guy.
It does seem what it seems like. That's exactly what I thought too. Same with the masks. Let's just see how many of these dumbasses we can get to wear masks.
Well, as far as the idiocracy of the show, I was watching a video just moments ago while I was trying to log in. It popped up on my phone with our buddy Giuliani. Apparently the shit is now running out of his ears. He's so full of it. So, sorry, that was terrible for this early in the morning. I don't know. Some kind of bad dye job was running down the side of both of his sides of his face and stuff. And this is not long after his Four Seasons announcements there at the fertilizer place. It's almost like they're just, at this point, they're just making fucking fun of everybody. Not me, because I've been out of that show for frickin' ever, but watching the people who believe this shit. I just am flabbergasted by it, that people still can watch the fucking show and believe it's real. Sorry.
I'm with you,
Walt.
Walt.
Really tired of hearing about these idiotic people and their psychosis. Psychosism?
Psychopathies. Having, I don't know. Shit, I don't even know. Whatever the plural of psychosis is.
Psychosi. I don't freaking know. Good morning, though, everybody. I see Dawn. I see Lucas. I see Waru back in the house. Man, we're glad to see you again. Having you hanging out, it's been nice. And back on Twitter. Of course, you're not back in the trenches either. I see you both. We both have kind of jumped out of those trenches, and that's good. That place is crazy, too. Marvay's here. Diva's here. Hal, who we all know as Kelly, is here. Who else? Liz, the Iron Maiden. I know that lady. She's nice. I'm trying to scroll, and y'all keep scrolling me back down. Alan, the Alan Holman, line producer extraordinaire. Lucas, I said Lucas. Arwen, hi, Arwen. Good morning, sir. The Fonzie himself is here, everybody. Good morning, Travis. Glad to see you, friend. Thank you for throwing out the Fonzies for us. Have I missed anybody? I know I have. Kershime 3 is here. I don't know. I'm probably missing everybody. Oh, look at that. Oh, my goodness. Stop the ball. And I went off. The time traveler himself is here. Good morning, Aussie Rob. Glad to see you, Rob, in chat with us this morning. That's awesome.
Gotta get on the show tonight, man.
That would be awesome to have you come hang out with us. I already said hey to Dax with his popcorn for the morning. Robert Page. That's who I was missing. Good morning, Robert. He was the first one here. First. You get it, Robert. All right, that's it. I've seen everybody. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Now I don't have to type.
Well, we are joined by someone who was trying to join on Tuesday, but was right there at the end and everything was a little bit crazy. I was still trying to get ready for work and all that good stuff. But Jonathan from Jersey has joined us again this morning. Jonathan, how the hell are you, sir?
Hello, my dudes.
What's up, Jonathan?
You in the bathroom? What are you doing?
The bathroom. What are you talking about?
Doesn't sound like
You got
you're.
an echo.
Very echoey.
Is it really an echo?
Yeah, it sounds like you're laying in bed trying to talk to your computer across the room.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Let me call back. I'm on the. You know what it is? I switched it to
The camera
the
mic.
headset. I switched to the headset once I was signed in. Let me go back and come back.
Gotcha.
Maybe I'm still in a time tunnel.
That's it. That's a lot of that today. It's probably Rob's fault. He's calling us from Saturday. So or early
I'll be back.
Friday. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really interested to hear from Jonathan. He's had some things that were supposed to be going on. But
I know. I was thinking that was recently happening or has happened or maybe not yet. I'm not sure.
Okay, what about now?
Nope, that's the same.
What?
Still sitting on the toilet.
Shut up. I'm not on the toilet.
Not.
I could switch
I'm not a
microphones.
pirate.
Hold on. All right.
I want to be a
You
pirate.
can make me switch to my
Oh,
what do you call
there
it?
you
Like,
there you go. That sounds better.
Oh,
You know what?
now you're
Hold on.
right there.
You know what? I know why. Because I was on the Echo. Hold on a second.
You were on the toilet, weren't you?
Oh. Oh, you know what happened? Okay, so I put on my headset to hear you guys, but the microphone was picking up from the boom mic, which was across the room on the
That's
Yeti.
exactly what it sounded like.
Hold on a second. Wait, watch this. Wait, let's do. How's this?
Still sounds good. No echo.
That's better.
I don't know that it's better. Well, your other one it was a little more bassy.
The other one was more bassy.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, that was the Yeti mic.
All about that bass. About that bass. Nope. Triple.
So I hear you got a new whip there, Jonathan.
Oh, you saw that? You saw the photos?
I did.
Yeah. It turned out to be, the way the universe works. If you're in the flow of it, they literally take over. I think we said to this last time, where we said like the outer limits, we control the vertical and horizontal and all that. But I'll tell you what, this sounds so cliche. It sounds so friggin' new agey, and I don't want to sound light and fluffy like I'm one of those. But you really get humbled by the experience. You get humbled by getting out of your own way, and then watching it proceed to unfold. And I'll tell you what, like I've heard other terms like, the hero's journey and, all these different terms that try to describe the experience, right, from an esoteric standpoint. But when you think about heroes in a movie or in like a book, like a story, it's literally like it's scripted for them and they don't know it themselves, right? Remember like Neo in the Matrix? Like, at first when you see him in the office scene, like what's his name? Morpheus was trying to help him. And he's like, Neo, I am Morpheus, and I'm going. All right, so he took
Climb out the window.
Exactly. And what does he do? He balks, right? He flounces. He doesn't listen fully because he doesn't believe in himself, and that's like anybody's journey into the unknown. But little by little, he starts to trust Morpheus, and that's his first guide and whatnot, right? Just like Luke had Obi-Wan Kenobi, like any of these stories, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually they come to know themselves, and it's them and them alone against whatever. Really, they're fighting themselves. Like we always see the enemy as the, like Darth Vader or something, right? Well, people don't realize because they're watching the movie and they think, like remember in The Empire Strikes Back when everybody found out that Darth Vader was his father,
Mm-hmm.
and people lost their collective shit. I mean, everybody was going nuts. Right, that was like the big game changer.
Uh-huh.
But what people don't realize is that it's not that's the enemy, that's the mirror, right? That's the person that's showing us ourselves. But we're fighting ourselves the whole entire time. We're always fighting against ourselves, and we always think we're fighting an enemy. And it's like, no. I'll give you an example. When I was going through my stuff and I was angry or this or that, or I had a problem with the world, I'd have these people that were I have to say, like much more further ahead than myself on the spiritual walk. And they'd constantly tell me like, it's not that you hate that thing, it's that you hate that thing within yourself. And I'm like, what the F does that mean? That's like, I'm not that thing. I can see the thing and I hate it. Right.
Yep.
And like, no, they said, the unrest or the anger and all that stuff is within you. And I'm like, I was like, it sounds so moronic. I was like, so wait a minute. You're saying if I see a child molester, like I can't hate the child molester? Like that's in me. I'm a child molester. And I was like, how do you objectively see something and hate it then, And I didn't understand it. And they're like, no, well, they're like, yeah, you hate that within yourself because you don't see the person in them. Or something like that. It was like this, like it seemed like psychobabble and bullshit, like double speak. But then I started to realize, like, yeah, I was like, okay, now I'm starting to get it. Like when you're at peace with yourself, and
we got about 30 seconds before we hit the break. Believe it or not.
Okay, real quick. So when you're at peace with yourself, what happens is instead of seeing the enemy, instead of seeing the thing, you start to see the solution. You start to see how to fix it. You start to see how to fix it with them, with you. You're fixing it within yourself, and then you have a solution for them. I'll come back to this.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, this has been segment 1 of the Ironworx, which just flew by.
Yes, it did.
Stick around, and we'll be back for segment number 2 with Jonathan from Jersey.
Shout out Nuka-Cola in chat.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Got him.
Extendivite, a 7-herb combination made from garlic, cayenne, hawthorn, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, valerian, and milk thistle. Extendivite feeds our body with the right nutrients to keep us healthy. Just listen to what Arthur has to say.
I was just calling to tell you what a great product you have. I had used this about 10 years ago after I had congestive heart failure. Fixed me up and got me going for the last 10 years. Lately, I've been having heart trouble again, so the price of no longer
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Beautiful day. It's a beautiful day.
And welcome back to the second half of the first half of the Ironworx right here on Truth Frequency Radio. We are hanging out with Jonathan from Jersey.
Hey. So let me just sum it up like this without getting verbose. So basically what I was saying is just like Luke Skywalker, at first when he finds out that Darth Vader's his father, he gets angry and this and that, and then he has to go within and he has to go back and deal with Yoda and deal with all this stuff. But in the end, he makes peace with it. Like, remember when the Emperor and he's trying to get them all like to turn to hate, right? Instead of going within and turning to love and trusting in himself. And what does he do? He sticks to his guns. He has that inner peace. And then Darth Vader winds up coming to his side, seeing the truth in being centered. And then and then he makes the peace. Same thing with Neo. Neo's fighting so desperately to stay alive, to fight against Smith, and Smith and him are equally matched. And then finally he lets death wash over him, where Smith shoots him with the gun, right? And then what does he do? He just all of a sudden he transforms at that point. So what I'm getting at is, at some point when you yield to everything that you're fighting against, you start to make that inner peace with it. And once you do that, you connect with all of it. It's like when they say, like, we are the universe, like we are all with one, like we're one and all. But I have to tell you this, you started out with asking about the car, right? About the hoopty. that car was given to me. Like, literally, my friend found it. I wound up working with him, ironically. He gave me some quick work to make money. And everything just worked out in the end. What was a setback wound up lowering the price to then take that money and fix all the little things that need to be fixed on it, because it is a used car, getting it detailed, fixing little minor things. And so, again, the universe had it, but I reacted to it. That's the only time I lost myself in this whole journey in the past 2 months, was when that car, that thing happened, and that was that. Oh, by the way, you guys, remember I was telling you about John O'Hea, the guy who was Alex's right-hand man, Alex Gray.
Mm-hmm.
And he worked at the Omega Institute as well for like 9 years and this, that. So we were having a talk last night for well over an hour. And I swear to God, I told him, John, don't say anymore, because this would be good radio. Stop like this. We shouldn't have this conversation. We covered so many things, but he wants to come on the show. So I was going to tell you that after, if we can record something maybe on Sunday, if you guys are free. What I was going to ask you is, we record this with him. We get him for 3 hours. This week, you can dice it up, and then you can even maybe broadcast it on Friday in place of a live show. That way, nobody has to wake up the day after Thanksgiving early, if you want to do an interview like that. But he had stories that were like, we were talking about, Krishna Das. We were talking about, like I said, all the people he's hung with, and I'm like, dude, don't tell me any more stories. You got to save this for the show. I'm telling you, you guys are gonna flip out.
That sounds
Nice.
really awesome.
Nice, very nice. Let us know for sure.
Yeah, he's in. It's just a matter of scheduling with you. So let's talk off after the show and see if we can make that happen. Yeah.
Well, you were talking earlier about just having to surrender and accept that inner peace and just kind of let the chips fall where they may. And it's really interesting, because that's also something that I want to discuss with you. And I don't know how far in depth you wanted to get into it, but you were supposed to have been releasing a book. And
yes.
Sorry.
So
yeah, go ahead.
No, yeah, you're right. No, from on the 16th of November, my first book was I Claim to Know Nothing, but This Is What They Told Me. And as I approached the 16th, again, I was determined. This is another thing with the universe. I was determined to do a certain thing, and I'd set my mind to it. And usually that's good, because you're showing that the universe that you're dedicated, right? So you're trying to pull it towards you. It's a goal. But in this instance, what came up for me, and I don't know if it's part of being in this house, I think that's part of it, because it is a healing temple. It's called Temple in the Sun, and I'm actually redoing the webpage and all this other stuff. But what came about is that because it was such an auspicious day and so many good things have happened on that day, including my son's birthday, which I'm very, very happy about, it just didn't seem right to put my book launch on it at this point. I got to the point, and Plus, I'm in a different place. I have a whole new set of eyes and a new inward journey. So I was looking at what I wrote, and I'm like, you know what? I have to tweak this, this, and this, and this, because it's not that I no longer believe certain things. It's that my perspective on it is so, my perception is different, right? It's altered. The event itself happened. So I'd say like 90%, 95% of the book is exactly the same because you can't change the event. It's just that I had to change up some words and some sentiments because I've changed. And so if in releasing it now, it just wouldn't reflect who I am. Does that make sense?
It does.
So yeah, so I'm pushing it out. I'm actually going to celebrate it for myself the day after my birthday, because of other players, other people who were involved in the book in terms of storytelling. And so April 5th is the day. It's definitely going to launch. It's an absolute. And yeah, that's that. Because it's the day after my birthday. I don't want it to fall on my birthday either. Sometimes, like, imagine how, I feel bad for those kids that like their birthdays is Christmas, or their birthday is within proximity of Christmas by a day or two, so they kind of lose out on their birthday. Yeah. But that's that.
Well, I'm actually really excited for you, because that's one of those changes I seem to have seen since having met you, was sort of the story unfolding. And I love that it sort of accumulates, that now that you've got it all written out and pen to paper, this is what it is, black and white. You're still in that mode where you're evolving and changing, and you have to go back and make a re-edit. And I bet you before it's all said and done, there'd be probably a second or third edition with revisions in them.
Yeah, they're very well may be, because you don't know what's going to come up different in the reflection on it, right? And say, well, okay, I forgot about that, or okay. So yeah, I can see that. But
can you give just a quick little blurb about what the hell we're talking about?
About the book itself? Yeah, so basically, I had started it many years ago. I was writing a lot. I was keeping a journal, and I was taking note of all the different phenomenological experiences in my life, and there was like tons. But the reason why I say I claim to know nothing, but this is what they told me, they being both people I've met along the way and spirit itself, because a lot of times when we get signs from the universe, it's through other people. Sometimes it's through events where, like, you're thinking about something, then a song will come on the radio and you're like, oh my God, that's exactly what I needed to hear. And then it's further validated by maybe a billboard or something that's on a truck or something, right in front of your face, where the universe is just yelling at you like, this is the message, stupid.
Freaked out one of my buddies one time.
Go ahead.
All right. I'm listening to God, what was it? What song was it? I think it was American Pie by Don Clean. I'm hearing, like, the middle of the song. I clicked it on the radio. I was working. No, I wasn't working, because I didn't work with that guy. We were going somewhere. I was like, man, I love this song. And we were out in the country, and we were getting away from the city, and we lost it on the radio. We gotten out of. I was like, damn it, man, I haven't heard that song in so long. I really wanted to hear that song. I hit like 2 buttons on the radio, and boom, there's the song again, starting from the beginning. And my buddy's like, I was like, oh, cool, here we go. He's like, dude, how'd you do that?
Well, it's funny you say that, because
one of the most say I wanted to hear that song. He's like, yeah, and it happened. He's like, I've never done that before. How'd you do that?
Well, I'll tell you, one of the ones that hit me, and I think I told you this, Josh, like way back when I took that job on the road, and I was doing like the undercover stuff with the hidden camera. I mean, okay. And I was just praying to spirit. I was talking to God, and I was traveling through the Midwest, and then all of a sudden this Christian song came on, but the words were like so profound that it really like hit me in the heart. Okay. And I was like, wow. I was like, was that message for me? I was like, because I took it personal. And I said to God, I was like, was that for me? Like, was I meant to hear that? Because I wasn't normally listening to the station. And that exact moment, a car pulls in front of me, and the license plate read God, like, it said thanks God, like THX God. And I'm like, holy crap. I was like, okay, that's a sign. And then I'm just like, me being like a person, like a human, I'm like still doubting. And I'm like, okay, I hate to ask you this, but could I have possibly one more sign? And then at an exact moment, the woman on the GPS says, turn in 500 feet, turn left at Galilee, no, Calvary and Galilee. And I'm just like, I was like, really? It's like I'm on the road to get like on Calvary, like really. But it was like but whatever, it was so significant at that exact moment that it was like one of these things, like, okay, like, all right, I'm listening. Like, I'll get out of my own head, out of my own way. So, and then earlier this week, what did I do? There was a ceremony here at the house. They were doing Sananga and Arape or Hape, which is like, yeah, you've done that, or have you tried it?
Just read about it.
Yeah. I'll tell you, man, I'm learning a lot about like these plant medicines and stuff like that. And, people that do it, they get really excited about it. They have their own experiences. So I had to experience it for myself. I don't know if it necessarily, these aren't psychedelics, right? These are healing plant medicines that kind of give you wisdom when you tap into them. And it's always going to produce or, be profound in a different way each experience. But the only thing I think that happened is that my psychic was like way off the hook, because afterwards I had messages for everybody and I was seeing things like from my spiritual standpoint, it's like it was all enhanced. But I'd have to do it like a few more times to see, if it was a placebo effect or if it was really me authentic. And that's the only thing that sucks. The other thing is energetically, because there were other people there who were experienced and in their own right, they've done journey work. I could have simply been amped up by being around that energy, by being in that vibration that everybody's in the same room on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's kind of like being a player on a team. And because the morale is super high by the other players, now your abilities have amplified, right? Because of that morale booster.
Yep. Everybody gets the zone. Yeah.
Right. So again, it's, I said to a friend, I said, I'm thinking it was a psychosomatic effect. And I said, I don't think it was really the medicine or the drug. It was really, and she goes, but yeah, isn't plant medicine or anything we do a psychosomatic thing, right? It's a placeholder to get us to break past our ego, right? It's like when you tell
it gives you the belief that, you're actually the one doing it, but you're believing that the plant's making you do this.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. And like little kids, like you tell a little kid, like, guess what? You see this? This is a very special thing. And if you have it, you'll never be afraid of the dark because you'll have superpowers, and you tell them, and it's really nothing.
Dumbo's feather.
Huh?
It's Dumbo's feather.
Oh, no. Tell me the story about that one. I don't know about
Oh, Dumbo, the cartoon? Come on. Even I don't like Disney.
Yeah, the magic feather that the mouse gives him.
Be able to fly.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
So in the movie, Dumbo realized his ears would make him fly. It's been too long. I don't know the details, but long story short, he thought he could only fly because he was holding this little feather in his trunk every time he took off to fly. And then once he dropped it in mid-flight and was still able to fly, he realized it was always him, not the magic feather. It was a placeholder, as you say, like you tell the kid, this is the magic totem that keeps the boogeyman out of the bedroom or whatever. So same idea.
I love the song that the Black Crows sing in that movie. I seen a peanut stand, I seen a rubber band, I saw a needle that winked his eye. Well, I have seen about everything when I seen an elephant fly. I don't know how that came. I ain't seen that movie in 30 years probably.
Wow. Things you learn.
Things you learn from Disney.
TFR.
Right? Sauce and starch, babe.
I mean, if this doesn't prove, first of all, between allowing me to come on the show, that's a mistake. But the kind of topics that'll come up out of nowhere, like Dumbo, it's like, holy crap.
Well, what kind of plants were you guys using at this ceremony?
I think if my memory serves me, I think the Sananga comes from, an African bark or something like that. And that's administered where they drop it on your eyes and you keep your eyes closed and then it interacts with your tear ducts and then goes in that way. And I have to tell you, the Sananga is really about clarity and detoxing. It's also like a pain reducer throughout the whole body. Like your body starts to eliminate all pain. So by some accounts, they say it's like 100 times more powerful than morphine in the sense that it eliminates pain at that level. Kind of like if you had fibromyalgia and you took the proper thing to stop the nerve ending, from being excited.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like morphine, like a rush, right? I'm not like Albert from Little House on the Prairie. It's not like I'm stealing people's prescriptions just to get high. How about that one?
That's a good one.
Reference. Do you remember that episode? And then
I
Paul
do.
had to take him out to the country to some farmhouse, and he had to make him go cold turkey.
I completely forgot all that. Nuts.
Does it strike a
Oh,
memory
it
now?
rings bells. It rings bells.
Right? And he kept and what's his name said, can you go deliver this, right? The apothecary or whoever, and he had the little pouch and it had the cocaine in it. This is way before Coca-Cola. No,
Well, yeah,
but-
cocaine was like the medicine of the day. That and opium,
but
laudanum.
where do
call
they
it.
come from? Where do they come from? Plants,
Yeah,
right?
plants. Yeah.
Okay,
everything
so
comes-
like, yeah, and in South American countries where they have the cacao, those leaves and stuff, they'll chew on them all day to bypass hunger and to keep their body going. But of course, once everything gets to Western society, like we beat the shit out, we bastardize it. We
purify it and find what makes us feel good and just get that.
Well, that's it, and we don't honor it for the spiritual place it is. So again, these plants weren't really, they're not psychedelics. There are psychedelic, like the ayahuasca and stuff like that. But again, the problem is that I think it's because we're so influenced and we have so many things that distract us in the Western that we really need to go inward and be silent more than anybody else, so that we have the pure, unadulterated experience of whatever it is we're doing. Right? Instead of the high and the rush that kind of matches our short attention span and quick need for gratification. Everything from, using a credit card and going in debt, or being on Facebook every 30 seconds looking for that little red bubble that says somebody likes you for validation. Like, these plants don't meet you at that level. And a lot of times what happens is when you're doing the medicine, you might go in with an expectation because you're in your monkey mind and you're thinking it through, you're overthinking it. And then it comes on in such a subtle way or such a different way that the journey is that much more amazing, because you're really in awe by it. Like, wow, I didn't know it was going to be like this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so, so the Sanaga works one way, where it works internally, and it's helping your body to release toxins and other stuff. And it even supposedly, I'm telling you, the stories I've heard from people that have done it for some time is that their eyesight gets clearer. Like, you literally get rid of problems with your eyes.
Really?
Oh my God, dude, they become sharper. And what happens is it decalcifies the pineal gland. It's going right to the pineal gland through the eye. And people have actually produced, like, the crystals, the calcification that's in the body starts to come out. Like, people will actually have a little wound or something open up where it decides to come out. One guy had it come out of his calf. Another person, you were seeing like little crystalline type of like sand, but like clear sand, almost like crystal-like. And coming out of his eyes areas, which is like the calcification from the pineal. I mean, this is purportedly the case. Sometimes you see those stories too of those like people that they literally produce like heavy amounts from their eyes. And, in India and other places, they'll say, oh, it's a miracle, it's a gem or something like that. But it's just the body expelling in some awkward way, where it's overproducing calcium, or whatever it is.
So how easily acquired is, is this something that's, you have to brew it out of
I don't know.
stuff? Is it accessible to most people?
The people that are doing it,
you got to know the right, you got to be with the in crowd.
it seems like enough people have their hands on it. It doesn't seem to be illegal. That's not my understanding, because people openly advertise, like, whether it's a microdosing or whatever they're doing, they'll just broadcast it. And there's nobody coming, there's no ATF waiting to like come in. It's not like that. I can ask next time. I'll ask them, some of these people, like, what's the source of this? But a lot of people go on journeys. They'll go down to Peru. They'll go to different places. They'll be in touch with a medicine man or shaman. They've done the work. The people here that are administering it, the medicine, they've done the work. These are people that are walking the talk, and they're not what we call the sip and puke type of crowd. Sip and puke would be like the ones that do it because it's trendy, and they'll have a party and they'll get some guy, from Peru and fly him up here because what does it,
Right.
matter to them when they're paying him like $50? And here we are in America, and especially, Miami or something like that. And they got all the money in the world. So to put him up for $200, but for them to look chic and cool and hip and have all their friends do this experience and take their Instagram photos, look at me, you know what I'm saying? What is it to them? But meanwhile, when you're really called to it and you go down there for a month or a month and a half and you get chosen by the elders instead, it's because here's the thing, like, remember, it's nature versus us, right? And that nature is us reconnecting with nature, so to speak. So nature is spreading out just like through the matrix, right? It's spreading itself through the system and trying to reacquire through all of us. So whoever it chooses, even if it's just in a social gathering, right? If it's kind of trendy, so it's going to still get to the right person who's going to then take it to the next level. If that's the only venue offered, right, to get to the people, then it's almost like a vine. It'll find its way through the cracks of the cement and up through whatever, and eventually reach the sunlight and then regrow into itself again. So, yeah, so that's what happens. A lot of people are traveling and doing the work, and I'm really with a good group of people who are doing that work to help open up other people who want to have the experience and not the social end of it. Like we aren't the light and fluffy crowd. We're not doing it for popularity. We're doing it for serious healing work. And that also includes rage workshops, inner child workshops, people that have been sexually abused. There was like a goddess ceremony here last Saturday, and everybody who was there like had been sexually abused or traumatized. And what was really interesting, I was the only male in the house, right? They keep referring to me as the divine male here, and they're really appreciative of my masculine nature because I'm also gentle. But here's the thing, I was sitting there like, making, you saw the pictures, Josh, where I was making like the food and stuff and the fruit and all that good stuff.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I'm staying out of the way and I'm really quiet. Some people didn't even know I was there, but this one woman came walking through and she was in an altered state, and because they were doing ayahuasca, and she says, "Why is he here?" And the woman's like, "No, that's Jonathan. It's fine. He's okay." But it triggered her. She was really hating me because I triggered her just by being present there as a male, right? When it was all females. You know what she says to me later? I apologized to her, and she goes, no, don't apologize. She goes, it's actually good that you were here, because when I was in that altered state, I thought I had worked through certain things, and just in seeing you, just by seeing a male in the house, all these other emotions surfaced because I wasn't ready for it. And it made me re-examine like things that I thought I worked through in myself through therapy. And she was thanking me profusely. So again, like sometimes we go in with certain expectations and we don't know what the universe has in store for us that day, what work we have to do.
I was just looking, somebody had asked in chat exactly which plant you were talking about. So I just did a quick Google search and was pulling up links and seeing what would work. Apparently first one didn't, but apparently the plant that they use for the Sananga comes from a shrub called Epichinacea.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I really like that. That's an awesome word.
Let me see the net. Yeah, maybe. Dude, I'm like, it's early in the morning here. I haven't even had my freaking coffee.
Although Epichinacea is in quotes, so I wonder if that's maybe just
this one, Sananga. Okay, so this is the one through through Peru, the eye drops. The other one, maybe I'm thinking of Aboga. That's what I'm thinking of. That's the plant bark from Africa. Dude, I'm getting like such a learning here, and they're asking me if I'm gonna want to do medicine and stuff like that. And I'm like, I've always just gone with spirit. I've always been a clear channel, and I am a seer. So afterwards, I see things. I was seeing things while people were having their experience. So for me to do medicine, it's not something I want to do in a group setting. It's something I might study just so I have the knowledge like anything else. I love studying. But the past 2 weeks that I've been here, 2.5 weeks, because I only moved in here 2.5 weeks ago, I've been doing nothing but like fixing up the house, like acting like that kind of male. Like, oh, electrical outlets need to be fixed. Cool. Oh, this has to be fixed. So I'm getting to step into that role, which the house needed. So now I'm like my own personal journey in doing this work starts in about another, Monday, I'd say, because we're getting ready for a big ceremony on Thanksgiving where we're all going to do, the people that are invited, ayahuasca and workshops and stuff like that. It's a 3-day event. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. And I
I'm
promise I
excited
will
for
have
you.
accurate information for you guys. I will, Jonathan from Jersey. If Josh, when I post something, I always have that one little caveat, or I put a little side note. If this is inaccurate, I will come back and make I'll redact it, or I'll give you a link. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't put things out there without understanding it fully. So I apologize to the audience for being ignorant on this.
And you do typically spend a lot of time vetting information.
I do, right? I mean, yeah.
Have you done ayahuasca before?
Following up on a second break here.
Holy gee, yeah,
Go
we
ahead.
are.
Oh, wow. It did sneak right up on us, Zach. Thank you. Damn, this is 2 that flew by. Somebody in chat said that time isn't playing around anymore. It's just flying by. It's not even pretending like it's acting right. I have to agree. All right. I guess we'll take a break. We're here with Jonathan from Jersey, Zach, Josh, Walt, Ironworx.
Good morning. Yes. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up.
What is dark matter?
Okay, you don't know.
That's great. That's why it's called dark.
It's exactly.
Most of the reputable information comes from random people on the internet. The Earth is flat. It's like school. Yeah.
Dark matter is something we do not know what it is. We believe that dark matter is there, but we have never detected it. Well, what I'm afraid of course, is that there is no dark matter out there. So what one? There is no dark matter out there. We need to think really hard, to think really hard.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
And welcome back to the Ironworx hour number 2, kicking off right now. Josh, Walt, and Zach hanging out with Jonathan from Jersey.
Hey guys.
Just bullshitting. Just chewing the fat, bumping the gums.
Oh, you know what? So I was saying about talking to John O'Hea the other day, just last night. He said something that was really significant. I can't articulate it the way he did, but his thing right now, his focus, he's been studying archaeology around the world, like lost or hidden archaeology, and he has a lot to say on that. But he touched on something where certain places around the world are aligned the way they are, and it's almost like, if you could picture, do you know what a Merkaba is? It's almost like the Star of David, but in a 3D picture. Okay. And so picture like a round Earth going through that, and then the one stance, like everything aligns. But then we got into like the flat Earth briefly, and I said, it's just like this analogy I've used before. Everything we're being conditioned to see, for the most part, is always through a flat medium, meaning like we're looking at a flat monitor more than we ever did, more than we were even kids watching TV and cartoons. We're constantly looking at our cell phones. It's another flat medium. Some people go as far as saying that.
And old CRTs were quite curved.
Yeah, the CRTs, they have.
As a dichotomy of what you're meaning there.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, the CRT tubes and everything, the way they were designed, of course, even had a curve, never a flat surface. But it's ironic because the picture quality of what we're seeing on these these different types of LEDs, LEDs, 4K, ultra 4K, 8K. You literally go into Best Buy on some of these monitors, and it's like somebody sprayed your eyes with Windex when you stare at them. It's almost like the picture is hyper sharp, hyper clear, right? You've seen some of these displays.
Oh yeah, that's part of the reason that it's taken me so long to step that far this year. I finally went 4K, because to me, watching those TVs at other friends' houses was always like trying to watch a movie. Okay, you're watching the movie and suddenly you're in the room with the dude wearing a costume. You're no longer in a movie. The suspension of disbelief is gone because you're watching a newsreel. You're watching something in the room with you. It no longer is a storyline or no longer an entertainment, because you're removed from that suspension of disbelief by the reality of the clarity. If that makes any fucking sense.
And I think they're going to step it up even further, that as clear as the picture looks now and as much depth and contrast and stuff, I think it's going to look to the point where it's like the picture is going to look like it's in a box, as if the flat screen is like a hollow box, like making a diorama, like when you were a kid using a shoebox, right? So the objects are almost touchable. And I think I mentioned this a long time ago on your show. There's a documentary on the guy who's, what the hell's his name? Theremin. You know about this guy Theremin, the one who originally designed what became the Moog, the musical device that makes all the sci-fi noise. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So there was a documentary about this guy, Dr. Theremin, and he was like on the wavelength of Nikola Tesla. You're familiar with this?
It's been out for a while, right? I've seen a documentary on him. So if it's one that's been out a while, I've seen it.
Yeah, the cover page has his face. He's wearing glasses. I remember it's like, and it was an old style picture put on a modern box kind of setting.
It pumped me up. I wanted a theremin. I wanted to play one. I thought I could turn it into a metal instrument at the time. Now, of course, that's been done since then. But yeah, I was all pumped up.
Well, the thing that stood out the most in this entire documentary that really, really stuck with me is that when he was working in his lab before he even produced that thing, he had, and there was a couple of people that were still alive, and it's not like these old people, like in their like 90s, almost 100. And they walked into his laboratory, and they said there was a box across the room. Now they didn't know what a TV was. There was no TV back then. But in this box, you saw an exact representation. Like you saw his lab downstairs on the floor below in the basement. But they said when you looked at it wasn't a screen like seeing a monitor with like a security camera. They said it was as real as if you could reach into this. They were calling it like a box. Reach into it and grab the objects out from within it. It was that kind of ultra clear. And supposedly he was the first one to develop wireless transmission of color, light, and whatever. So it makes me wonder if they suppress that technology and little by little they're putting it into LED and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I know our buddy Martin Leapcut there, Flat Earth British. There's a lot of the things he brings up picture-wise, old pictures, are a lot of these things that look like a screen almost that the people are watching from way back, but things are actually coming through the screen, like beings and weird looking entities and things like that. There's always a device involved, and it looks like something that the people are gazing into, and this is way before we had TV or screens or any of this other shit, allegedly. So yeah, I don't doubt that what you're saying is part of the whole cover-up, that they're releasing it a bit at a time to get us back there.
Yes. Scrying mirrors.
I'm glad you said that. Go ahead. Bring that up.
It's just like us on Skype right now looking at these little black mirrors that we have that we carry around with us. I look into the black mirror and all of a sudden a face appears and I can communicate with it. They've had this technology forever. Not even Mudflood. Tesla said they could do this back in the 20s and 30s.
Well, for
that's
those that don't
allegedly
know,
how Nostradamus wrote the quatrains, was scrying it all in a mirror, allegedly.
yeah, for those that don't know what scrying is, it's basically like a black polished mirror or a black cauldron, the interior of it, so that the pool of water looks black at the surface, the reflection. What's that?
No, I was going to say, yeah, like a pool of water, like a surface of water in a little container, vessel, something.
Yeah. Maybe they had like black obsidian, or they had something that really gave you an ultra black, but it gave you that, instead of seeing the bottom of the bowl, you'd see a reflection that was ultra black. And supposedly when you scried, you were basically doing a form of divination where you were getting in touch with the spirit. And after staring at it long enough, supposedly the image would come to the surface, right? It would then fill that black void. So if you think about it, cell phones are kind of like that, right? Your screen is always black when it times out to save on energy. And then as soon as you touch it, right, what comes to the surface? All the information at your fingertips.
Have you
So it
ever
is kind of a cult
phone that isn't black when it's turned off, the screen?
Well, what is it, gray or white?
Yeah, I've never seen one that wasn't black.
Oh, right.
They're all black. When it's sitting there in the store, just sitting there, it's a little black mirror.
Yeah, buy your little witch's mirror right now. All the information at your fingertips. Interesting.
Wild. Yeah. 1,000 years ago, we would all be witches and wizards right now.
Yeah, nobody's really done that movie.
What do they say? Technology is just magic that is not understood yet. So back in the day, this was all magic. Looking into the black mirror, being able to communicate. Now it's just technology. So did they have that technology back then and just didn't share it with the common folk? But every once in a while, maybe a servant peeked in and saw something funny or weird and word got out. I don't know.
I'll tell you what, if you went back in time, depending on what period you landed in, let's say you went to the 1500s or even further back, it would behoove you as a time traveler to like go and purchase a bunch of like a 10-pack of lighters, for cheap, and just like give them out in trade. I mean, that would go a long way, right? All of a sudden you get back there and you need arrows, you need swords, you need food, you need supplies, and then you show up with a lighter. It's just like, what did it cost you in the future? Like 25 cents. You order them from Alibaba, right? So like 25 cents a piece or less. And here you go and deposit it back in time, and you're getting stuff that would be worth how much? By then, by that standard.
Have you ever seen the movie Black Knight with Martin Lawrence?
No, is it like that?
He actually kind of tried that. he went back to medieval times or whatever, yada, yada, yada. He fell down, bumped his head, had a dream, and,
Yeah, I
went back.
forgot about that one.
And,
There's a Stephen King and Peter Straub book that I'm struggling to remember the name of. Damn it. Anyway, they wrote a collaboration novel years ago, and in it, the kid, went back and forth between our reality and another reality that just sits right on the other side of ours, kind of the whole vibrational, seeing other area type thing. And in that, he goes back and forth with things from our world, lighters and other things, and then he brings back a character from that other world who's actually like a wolf beast, and it's just really that whole thing, like the magic of our technology versus the magic of their magical abilities. And what the fuck was the name? It wasn't the Dark Tower, but it tied into the Dark Tower. I'll find it.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Martin Lawrence, he pulls out his lighter and he's like, I can make fire. And the wizard, he's all like, whoa, that's cool. But all the common people are like, well, we've got fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was their response. Like, yeah, we've got fire.
The talisman, that was it. Sorry, I finally got it. The
I was
talisman.
gonna say the other problem you face is if you run into those type that are really ultra fundamentalist, and they wouldn't even listen to logic. They wouldn't want to hear your crap, no matter what your excuse is, and immediately pull out their sword and say, "You're a heretic. You're a wizard. You're this or that," and just proceed to kill you. Yeah, burn them, kind of thing. So that you'd run that risk by showing any of this stuff too.
Like I said, we would all be considered witches and wizards back in the day for the stuff we use every day. Witchcraft.
So all right, let's skip on the later idea. If we went back in time with like cheap candy from Walmart, like Kit Kats and Snickers and things like that, then we'd be revered. Even the kings and queens would be like, I like these little snack treats you've brought for us from wherever.
The best thing to take back in time.
Right, I'm thinking a bag of assorted candies right after Halloween. And, you can get it for like $2.99 a bag. People would think you're like awesome.
I would take them a compound bow.
Seriously?
Be like, you want to be the best army in the world right now? Make 10,000 of these, and you'll shoot twice as far as any other bow shooters out there.
And those people could shoot too, right? Because they're always using a bow.
They could shoot to be like a master bowman. You would have to be able to hit a target all at the same time. Shooting at different angles. So you shoot your first one way up, so it takes longer to get there. And then the next one, you come down a little bit and you shoot it that one, and then that one. And then the last one is like dead on. You fire it straight at it, and they all converge on the target near the same time.
Oh, Jesus.
Because they were shooting like hundreds of yards. It wasn't like a 50-yard shot. They're shooting, 200 yards. 250 yards with I think it was the English U bow was the one that was better than any bow. It was the way the bark was made. There was like 2 layers of bark, and one was soft and one was hard. And when they would form it, it would like curve by itself, just the way the wood did it. But yeah, the U bow, that was what made the English army just unstoppable. They can shoot you before you could even get your archers into range. You're already getting fired upon. Supposedly, that's how the story goes. It's all history.
Makes sense.
Or so they say.
Whoever has the biggest guns that shoot the farthest, usually they don't always win, but they usually have a better odds, we'll say.
Jay in chat brings up a good point, Zach. It's not necessarily good karma to start an arms race.
Right?
True. Yeah, I guess that was not a very good example. I was just thinking of technology that they could have. Yeah, that was horrible, wasn't it? I went straight to war. Yeah, I have to think of a new one.
Knowledge. Just take knowledge with you. Then you're not taking anything foreign like you're a magician. You can just use what's around you and take modern knowledge back into the unenlightened times.
Actually, they probably know more than we do.
In a lot of cases, that's for sure.
Yeah. I'm sure we could teach them a few things, but man, alchemists back in the day, they understood it way more than we do now.
Imagine you have like somebody goes back in time, right? And they think they're going to bring technology and we're more advanced than those primitive people
around in cars and all kinds of shit.
Well, no, like let's say like somebody takes you in, right? They're kind enough to take you in because they're just a kind person, and then all of a sudden you see them and you think they're gonna like rub two sticks together, start the fire. Then all of a sudden they just snap their fingers and the friggin' fire starts. You're like, what? And like all of a sudden, like they need something and they just use their mind. It looks like Jedi mind tricks and shit's levitating across the room. And you're like, what? And so basically, that's the hidden archaeology. That's the hidden knowledge that the Illuminati have been hiding from us. That we had all these abilities and gifts, and that the history books are full of shit. Like there was no dark ages, right? The only dark ages was like everything was omitted or written out of history. But meanwhile, like, oh yeah, the pyramids, fuck, that was easy. Like we just literally all levitated that shit and put it together like Lego with our minds. But like the way they write the story, oh, we took all these slaves and they used logs and they rolled those friggin' stones and the guy cracked the whip. And like meanwhile, it's like it was nothing like that. It was like more like the Amish, the way they build a fucking barn. You had women like making great lunches, and the guys are just sitting there going, oh, doing like and toning it. You know what I'm saying? It's like
everybody homes,
huh? Billionaires,
everybody home.
But with billionaires, yeah, people would be building pyramids all over the place right now if it were possible. But they could throw 10,000 men at the thing for 10 years, finance it all, and have their pyramid not being done.
Right. But I'm saying, imagine if that was the truth. Like, what if somebody did a movie like that? And it's like, holy crap! Like, how come we were never told this? Like, you have Atlantis, and then you have transit systems, and like this whole like those Vimanas and stuff like that. People are using these flying craft out of India, and flying zips all over the friggin' world. And meanwhile, you have these idiots in the Illuminati that are dismantling it and cataloging it, and then putting it away, hiding it.
Another shout out to Martin and our buddy Martin Lika. I think he might have been the one. If it wasn't him, it was one of the other mud floaters coined the term vanilla sky for some of the old photographs. I know some people say it's just the ability we had for photography and aperture and things like that. But I mean, when every picture looks like the sky has been whited out, almost as if not showing us the Venomas and the flying cars or the dirigibles or whatever the hell that was filling the skies back then.
It showed all kinds of drawings that people did with all kinds of airships flying around, just dirigibles and Vermana, just things with balloons, things without balloons, things doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So I mean, people didn't just make that shit up in their head. It's not like one person did it. You're seeing multiple artists from all over the plane drawing these pictures of all these flying machines in the sky. They were there
exactly
at one time.
Exactly.
It's the same thing with the whole flood story. Everywhere on earth there was the flood. All religions, all history of all different races and different peoples all over never spoke to each other supposedly, but they all
even like
flood.
Even like what Mark talks about when he talks about like there's a globe in every classroom, right? So it reinforces that idea that the world is round. But if you were to ask any person, right, here's an approach, right? So it's like, do you believe the world is round or flat? And lay people, of course, are going to say round, right? And now some people that are open-minded might say, well, it could be flat, who knows? But for the most people are going to argue that it's round, right? It's a globe, right? It's spherical, not round, spherical. And so the thing is, though, it's like, okay, well, I'll go with that. But let me ask you this. When was the concept put into physical form? Like, what a globe in a classroom looks like. They're like, yeah. So when was that invented? When did the globe come into being? And most people probably couldn't tell you when the globe was invented as far as a physical item that we could, look at with mapping on it. So I don't even know. I don't know when the first globe was designed.
Wasn't it right around 1490 something?
Was it that far back?
That's what they claim.
Yeah, was it hollow? Did it have a little bar in it?
So they say.
Did it have a little bar set in it? Like with glasses and like for your office, or no? Like, what was it made out of? The first globe? Was it? You see what I'm saying? Like, how was it constructed?
It was wood. It was I think it's just a piece of wood carved.
Solid, like a solid
Haven't
ball.
you ever seen the Flintstones? It was a rock and it was kind of misshapen. It kind of looks like the potato they show us now. I'm just
Was
being
it really? Was it a rock?
stupid. No, I'm being dumb. The earliest surviving terrestrial globe was made in Nuremberg in 1492 by Martin Baham. Okay.
Same year, just decided to go on his little trip.
From Britannica. I didn't go to Wikipedia. I went to Britannica because they've been lying to us longer.
I was going to say, doesn't 1492 have a significant place in history or something?
1492 is Columbus sailed the ocean blue. Come on, man. Where are you from?
I know that. No kidding. That's what I'm saying. And it's funny. Like, he decides to set sail in the year that the globe was designed.
Oh, wait. This undoubtedly influenced Christopher Columbus's attempt to sail west to the Orient. Well, of course it did.
Are you serious? Is that what it reads?
Right here. Paragraph. Yep. I'll send it to you.
So then what happened is our first customer, Christopher Columbus,
can't write this shit.
Gave us a 5-star review.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I thought
I was so intrigued by the globe that was for sale that I said, let me go and see how accurate
See if
it is.
that's real.
Yeah.
Didn't have anything to do with the. Never mind. I'm not going to go there.
Oh, I know.
I
I
wasn't-
wasn't. By day they say not for educational purposes. Right on the bottom.
Does it really say that?
Well, yeah.
Go to
Oh my God! Pick one up at a store.
right now. Go find the globe in the home decor section and look at the bottom. It'll say not for
Now
educational.
wait.
Shut up.
That's
real?
what's in the home decor section. Go to the area of not Home Depot, the Hobby Lobby place, and go to the section where they sell actual globes in the educational area. Those also have. These are not for educational purposes. It's not just the ones over there in the home decor area.
Huh. This is not the globe you're looking for.
This is not your spinny space pair. Oh man.
Dude, that's funny as hell.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, you can't write this shit. You really cannot.
Huh. Hey, listen, I was thinking of buying a drone, by the way, to see if I can go up about 5,000 feet and see if the Earth is curved or flat.
Good idea.
Because maps are inaccurate and global.
Well, you can see it off the coast. That's what I'm told. You can just look out off the
Yeah.
coast.
Well, I figure at that elevation, I could see the topography of the world better. And, that's high enough. Why not?
Why not? If only somebody had thought of that earlier.
Lazy asses. Why not just buy a plane ticket? They're cheap right now. All you got to do is get in a plane, and at 35,000 feet, you'll see that the Earth is curved if you look through a GoPro.
I just realized Neil deGrasse Tyson kind of sounded like Bill Cosby when he's talking about the Neil Baumgartner jump. You don't see the curve of the Earth from 2 millimeters off this beach ball.
That was my argument for a while.
It just hit me.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, that was one of the first topics we covered. It was that jump on our very first quote unquote show that we put together with my brother, demonstrating and some graphics he created showing that there would be no way for anyone to see anything other than some dirt below Baumgartner when he jumped.
Right.
Because of those booms that went around like the whole Earth's dirt, because there was no oceans visible in any of the pictures from his jump.
It was planned in New Mexico.
Right. Wow, we're almost at a break, aren't we?
What were you going to say a minute ago, Jonathan?
What's that?
So what were you going to say a minute ago?
I don't
You'd
even
started
know.
a thought.
We get off on tangents.
We definitely do.
So the magic feather makes the elephant think he can fly?
I have seen about everything.
All I know is my life would have been less complicated if I never heard or met or went on to Strange World of Mark Sargent. That was my mistake, it wasn't a mistake. It was just the way the universe crafted. I think my true mistake was waking up one day and hearing some crazy ass shit on TFR and then stupidly calling in and be like, what is that music?
Lesson learned, Jonathan. Lesson learned.
That was only a year ago, wasn't it? A year and a half ago?
About a year and a half. Yeah, about a year and a half.
Yeah, I'd say we're pushing into 2 years.
Yeah, I was still in hiding.
We brought that dude out from the underground.
I think back to that day, and I was just like, I don't know what. I'd love to go back and hear the beginning of that because I forget how you guys reacted. But if I was like, I don't know if I said who I was at first, or if you recognized my voice.
Jonathan Lord. Josh recognized your voice. I do remember that very well.
Is that right?
I'm pretty sure that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
That's funny. That's funny.
It definitely was. Oh, wow. So the break music is going to be hitting here any second. So when we get back, if you guys don't mind, I want to take a little bit of left turn for Kelly in chat.
Do it.
Discuss it when we get back. But yeah, she's having some issues that I can address because I've been through it with my child. So there's a little teaser for after the break.
And that should be the break music. This is the Ironworx. Getting ready to round out this show with the fourth and final segment coming up after these quick messages. Josh, Walt, Zach, still hanging out with Jonathan from Jersey, just having a nice, calm, relaxing Friday morning. Enjoy. We'll be right back.
From the dawn of man, we have turned to nature to help attain balance within ourselves. But somewhere, we lost our way. Western culture is once again remembering the healing benefits of CBD, the non-psychoactive component of the hemp plant. That's why more and more people who use CBD
Here's a message of importance to millions of people who are continually pale and washed out, weak and run down. Doctors will tell you that these conditions are often caused by a deficiency of the iron you need to keep you physically fit and mentally alert. Medical studies show that 2 out of 3 women and many, many men lack the daily iron your body requires in a form your body can easily use and put to work. Every dose gives you more than your daily minimum iron requirement.
We are striving for more.
So if you're not getting the iron your body needs, if you feel weak, run down, and are easily upset, start taking iron today.
Wake up. And welcome back to the 4th and final segment of the Ironworx. This Friday, 11/20/2020. How's that for a date?
Hey, yeah, wow, you had a stutter there. Welcome back. For sure. You're here for the last segment of Ironworx. We are talking to Jonathan from Florida. No, Jonathan from Jersey's here.
Oh, you did not just say that.
I had to, dude. You know I'm gonna mess.
Oh my God.
You know I'm gonna mess. You know I'm gonna mess with you. No, I'm glad things are working out there, friend. I truly am. I'm definitely glad things are working out. I can feel your energy is definitely shifting, and that's good sometimes.
Hey, you know what? If I was this way, I don't know, my first one would have still resulted in divorce. My second one may have gone longer. Things would have been different, but of course I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be on my journey. So that's actually a lie. But I have to tell you something. I was thinking about this on the break.
Oh, go ahead.
I just want you guys to know in the listening audience, like when I come on here to tell my stories, it's not just to hear myself speak and pontificate and all that. I promise you that my agenda, right? Because I've always said I've had an agenda. I think I've stated that even within the flat earth community as to the reason why I'm not a proponent of the flat earth. I try to always give the guests or anybody who's in doubt or just transitioning, almost like good cop, bad cop. Like you want the person you're interrogating to be able to relate to the good cop so that they open up, right? And the bad cop is kind of like the one that he pulls off them and says, here, listen, I'm your friend. Do you need a drink? I'll go get you a Sprite. Kind of bullshit. Okay. The reason I'm doing the things that I'm doing is, yes, part of me, like yourself, Walt, and it's funny, I resonate with each one of you on a different level. Again, for aspects of self, right? We all have a personality of different aspects of ourselves than we see in other people.
Absolutely.
But I do it partly for my own fascination and because I've been wired this way since I was a youth. But I really think about other people the entire time I go through any experience like this. I think about how I'm going to be able to frame it. It's almost like I'm on a fact-finding mission or like a spy. And I'm looking to bring back information to the people. So like when I'm writing my books, I don't write it about, oh, here's John's ego. And it's like Eat, Pray, Love. And it's all about John's adventure. And John's going to make a book and go on a book tour. No, fuck that. It's more about Jonathan is gaming the system and getting on the inside and getting the inside skinny, and then he's going to put technical stuff into lay terms so that every common person can, it'll be open to them without being dogmatic, without it being fundamental, without it being rigid, right? So I was thinking about this, about the plant medicine and everything else. People talk about the experiences, but they don't explain the process of the experience. And I'm able to articulate things like that rather well. That's one thing I do know about myself. And I've had people tell me time and again, my son included, but people just saying, how come everybody, like my bosses at work, like, how come when they explain it, they make it sound technical or hard or difficult? I said, well, that's called job protection. They're trying to protect their job. I said, I don't give a shit. I just tell you exactly how it is, and I simplify it and show you how over glorified this position is, right? You know what I'm saying? So when I'm done examining this stuff, when I'm done getting all the info, I'm not going to keep it high-minded. I'm not going to talk in that light and fluffy talk. I'm not going to stay in cliques. It's like, no, this is going right to the people. It's kind of like supposedly, I guess, what Buddha did when he found enlightenment, or like Jesus did, in a sense that, and I'm not Jesus or Buddha, I'm just saying that they took these higher esoteric terms that the priests, right, that the higher elite were guarding, right, away from the people, the aristocrats and everything else, and bringing it down to that level. Like even Gandhi, right? I mean, all these guys, they break conventions of what the status quo is of the hierarchy of control and power. And they just, they distribute it. Here's another one. I'll give you a great one. Here's a great example. Did you ever see the movie St. Francis of Assisi? And it did actually have Obi-Wan as the Pope at the time. Do you know the movie from the 70s? It was called Brother, was it Sister Moon, Brother Sun? I think it was.
I missed it.
Hold on a second. Wait, I'm going to look at the title on this. Hold on.
It does not ring a bell whatsoever.
Yeah, Brother Sun, Sister Moon. I think that's it.
It just flew past me, apparently.
Yeah, it's Brother Sun, Sister Moon, 1972. Okay, and what's his name's in it? The guy who played Alec Guinness plays the Pope.
Yeah.
Okay, I suggest you watch this movie. If anything, just watch the last scene where St. Francis of Assisi gets granted a invitation before the Holy See, before Alec Guinness. And when you go in, supposedly, this was the only time that this one part of the Vatican was ever actually filmed, that they filmed inside it. And for good reason. When you see how incredible it is, all the gold, all the silver, how ornate it is and all that, you realize, like, holy Christ, there's all these poor people starving throughout the centuries, and they have this kind of opulence and incredible, building inside this place, in this palace. But St. Francis goes in with his people, and they're all dirty. They're just traveling monks. They're very, very, very humble. And they give this impassioned plea to the Pope, and all the other bishops and cardinals and stuff and whatever are looking down on them, looking down their nose like they're filth. And all of a sudden, Alec Guinness has this epiphany, because he's sitting up there, and they're kind of like, he's the old man. He's barely there. He's kind of like Biden. He's barely there. And they're all standing around him, like patting him on the back. But all of a sudden he comes to his senses, and he basically gives them like a prayer, and he comes down, he kisses the feet, he bows and he kisses the feet of St. Francis. And everybody's like freaking out. Like, who the hell are you to, this guy's nothing. He's a dirt merchant. He's nobody. He's a beggar. Like, and the Pope stands up and he says, you helped me remember what it was that I had at one time in my faith, like what we're all supposed to do in this serving position, serving the Lord, not to be putting on airs and serving ourselves and self-grandizement, So, yeah, there's other people. I got to tell you something, man. There's people in this whole community, and it's very cliquey, and they all want to be the next David Wolf, or they want to all be the next Tony Robbins and all that bullshit. And that's fine. That's their trip. And there's guys like me that are like, okay, yeah, I'll play the role. Sure, I'll go along to get along. And meanwhile, I'm like, I'm going to tell about this, and I'm going to expose this, and I'm going to share this, and everybody's going to have access to it. So that's my agenda. Let's not lie about that. Because I want to demystify certain things. I don't want to take it to the Western level where it becomes kitschy. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to capitalize on it and say, this is our spin on it as Westerners. It's like, no, you don't have to go all the way to Peru, and you don't have to, like, this is really where it's at, and it's accessible to everybody. So I'll probably get killed.
Within you, I mean, that's the thing. A lot of people think they have to go, and true that there is a path and a walk, and some people need to make certain journeys. physically.
some do.
But
Some
the
do.
growth is in you, you know.
Yes, some do. Some do have to make that journey, but
some people need to travel and move, right, Zach?
Yep. If it's calling,
yep.
You just gotta listen.
Yeah.
Well, before the break, I had promised Kelly we would get into something real quick there in chat, how fuckery. Apparently, from what I'm reading there, and it really stuck out because I kind of went through some similar things with my child. Her son has not too long ago, I guess, or it could not have been recent. It could have been a while back. I'm not sure of the time frame here, but apparently after raising her child in a very enlightened way, as we would all hope to do if we were parents at this stage, some of us, you know, had our kids a long time ago and we're not quite as enlightened then as we are now in certain things, but we were in other ways. Whatever, I'm rambling. Long story short, from raised with, you know, no antibiotics and in a healthy way, no vaccines, etc., he apparently chose to be vaccinated once he got to college at a advanced age, I guess.
Oh,
20.
damn.
So that sucks, and I get that you're dealing with that, and it takes you, like, maybe you feel from what I saw in chat that you wasted all that. Well, no, none of that was ever wasted. Trust me, the seeds were there and planted because, you know, the child has to leave the nest and grow. A child has to become its own personality and develop its own self away from the parent so that it can come back to appreciate those things. Because I went through it with my mom and dad. My son at one point was posting stuff on Facebook, how there was no God and he was an atheist and all this, being raised by me, of all people. So, I mean, he went through a phase where, you know, all the stuff I was looking at was crazy stuff and just strictly TV and video games for a couple to 3 years. And then I kept living my path and he saw that. So just keep living your path, Kelly, and it will show out in the end what's the real thing. Because as you see, it's easy to get snowflaked, especially when you're in college and there's lots of influences around you. I went through it. College is a very influential, very it's a path. Again, I went through it. It's at a later age.
It's
I was
a formative
in my 20s
time
before I went to school. So,
well, it's a really formative time in your life. You're coming out of living with your parents. You're trying to make it on your own, and you're still trying to figure out who you are. So you're trying on different hats. You're seeing what's what.
That's right.
I mean,
like mom and dad listen to metal. I'm gonna listen to country. Damn it! You know, you're doing the opposite just to be different than the upgrade. To see how different the other side is. You know, is the grass really greener on the other side? Whatever it is, but you planted the seed.
Can I add something to that?
Surely.
Because my son's not vaccinated and he was healthier than, you know, healthy as can be. But I will say this for her, if it, you know, gives her any reassurance. You know, the kids that get vaccinations and possibly with the thimerosal, if that's a proponent of, you know, causing autism and things like that, she did right by him in that his natural synaptic pathways and all that stuff were properly formed. So that in his developmental phase, you know, she kept him healthy and all that stuff. Like he grew into the adult he is now. So now he'll be able to take on anything, you know, that's thrown at him. His body's prepared for it.
Right, exactly. I see. I didn't even think about that part of it. That
yeah. So
this late life, there's more.
And then by body mass too. Yeah, by body mass and everything else like that, it you know, it's so not, I guess diluted per body weight. You know, the same vial or vaccination that we would get a baby would get by mass. So he's fine. He's going to be perfectly fine because of what she's done in raising him the way she did. She prepared him for this world, basically this polluted, toxic world.
And he may well regret it at some point and say, "Man, I wish I hadn't done that." My mom is spot on. I know it's been some time, I guess, since he's even spoken to you, but again, everybody's on their own journey. And I was a dense motherfucker for a long time. No matter how many times the universe would smack me over the head, I was too stubborn. I didn't care. So sometimes it takes some of us a little bit longer than it does others. Some of us aren't so willing to take the advice of those more experienced and just have to figure out on our own. And either way, you've raised a son that's willing to make a choice and go by it. He's not just going to not get vaccinated because mommy said. he took in information and he made a choice and he followed through. There's at least something to be said with that. Maybe not the follow through I would choose either, but you know, he's doing something. He's taking responsibility for his life. He's taking an active role in his health, one way or the other. There's still something to be said there too. Just don't think that it was time wasted. Even if it's you living your path, trying to raise your son better than you were, looking out for your son's best interests, and you are just walking that walk, that in of itself, I think personally has a reward at some point, karmic or otherwise. I think there's a benefit to being good even when no one's watching, to being just actively trying to improve yourself and be a better person.
Hopefully that helps. As I said, we've all got different takes and had different experiences and came to this place from way varied backgrounds. So we love you, Kelly, for sure. And sending lots of positivity and energy that way. So the way it should work out is how it will. God, don't it sound like just a bunch of platitudes, but it's real and true and coming from the heart. You should know that. True.
Yeah, if I said the things I wanted to say to my family, none of them would speak to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've said it all already. We've even had some heated conversations at Thanksgivings and whatnot. That was 2016 maybe. And now I don't bring it up. I'll sit there and listen to their babble about, you know, this and that, and I just bite my tongue because I love them and I don't want to argue with them. And I think it's fear more than anything. And I mean, not everybody's going to see this. That's one of the lessons in this place, I think, is no matter how much you want someone to wake up, no matter how many things you show them, they don't see it. Whether it be out of fear or whatever is causing it. I mean, physically they see it, but mentally there's a disconnect in there. So I do my best to bite my tongue and change the subject when they come up.
I'll tell you this much. My own take on the flat earth, you know, other people are using different methods to try to measure it and all this other stuff. I am going to crack this son of a bitch. I'm going to figure out what this illusion is that's being projected at us. Like, that's my determination. I want to know what this firmament is. I want to know why we see in the range we see. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to figure that part out, and that I can't wait to divulge.
Well, who went up in the balloon submarine? Oh, I'm having a brain fart. Said he saw a flat plane with the upturned edges.
August Picard.
Oh, Picard. Yeah.
Well, when he went up there, he realized that he had it backwards. That somehow it got more dense the higher he got. Once he got so high, he couldn't control the altitude anymore, and it took him way higher than he wanted to go. And he found that it's more like a submarine up there. You need to build the device also to hold pressure out. Like when you go, the deeper you go, the more pressure builds up on the outside. Well, it's supposed to be the higher you go, the more pressure builds up on the inside. And he found that not to be the case once he got so high.
See, that's what I honestly believe. I always believed, and I think we mentioned this again on the air one time, about it being different fathoms. And so even though we think we're in a breathing atmosphere here, there's enough moisture, water content, including ourselves, that we're actually just in another fathom of water. But it's so thin that we don't even recognize it. You know, humidity and stuff like that. And, well, so when you go, you know, through the ocean, of course, it becomes denser and you get pulled down by it. And maybe as you go into space, you know, up above, like you said, it's another layer of water, right? Isn't that's what the firmament's supposed to do? Separate the waters of the earth and the waters of heaven.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, even gases, once they get so cold, begin to liquefy.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually they become a solid. And that one rocket that went up, not saying, see, this is the stuff we need to do. We need to build something and shoot it way up there and get all kinds of readings and start gathering data that way. I sent Dwayne Kellum a message. He got it about measuring the electric potential, static electric potential in the atmosphere, and get some real readings of how much electricity is up there per square meter.
Well, here you go. Here's the clue. Ready? So satellites aren't really satellites; they're buoys. And there's a reason why the Navy, like in Star Trek, why it's Navy ships like the USS Enterprise, because it's just an extension of the Navy. But from the water down here, now they're just in the water up there.
Right. I never even thought of it. That's brilliant.
You know where the largest desert on Earth is?
What's that?
So do you know where the largest desert on Earth is?
Antarctica.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't fly.
It had the submarine in space back in the 80s. G-Force, was that it?
Oh, the one I like the one. The
Battle of the Planets. That was it.
Aircraft carrier with the big cannon. That cartoon, that Japanese cartoon with that battleship.
That's the one. Yeah, that's what I'm conflating two, maybe, but yeah, they were definitely naval ships in space in one of the animes.
Well, remember my discussion with Stanton Friedman when Mark was on and I came on, and I'm like, well, isn't NASA just an extension of the Navy? And he goes, no, it's not. And he's like, well, maybe. Yeah. No, it's definitely all one and the same.
Forgotten all about Stanton Freeman. It's a name very rarely crosses my thoughts.
We're on to you. We're on to you, you fuckers. We're on to you.
Okay, you guys can all breathe. The sun has lit up the sky again. It's coming around.
Nice.
Another good day.
I got up this morning and was getting ready. Well, coffee was done because I had it set for this morning.
Are you back at work? Are you back at physical work?
I am. This is my first week back.
Mm.
So as long as I can stay healthy for the rest of the year, I'm good.
You know, now wait a minute. If you get COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do they still pay you for 14 days? It's not your fault.
Nope.
You don't get paid, or you do get paid?
I do not get paid because I got paid for this last 2 weeks.
Yeah, but that wasn't your fault. You didn't have the COVID.
Doesn't matter. I could opt out of payment and not have gotten paid for that 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So that if I did get COVID and have to take off, then I'd get paid for that 2 weeks.
Mm.
But I figured the chances of that actually happening were pretty slim. And I have my fingers crossed on staying healthy through the new year when it all resets. And I guess, especially now with Biden in office, where everybody's going to get millions of dollars, I reckon.
Oh, wait, Biden is in office? He's definitely the president?
I guess.
Who knows?
Who cares?
There you go.
According to the Associated
two squirts piss.
I haven't been looking at the news, conspiracy sites. I've been too busy literally every day, every minute.
There was one?
Hmm?
There was one? Exactly. There
right.
was.
Well, yeah. Let me tell you this.
Oh, by the way, it was called Star Blazers, not Battle of Planets. Star Blazers. That was it. I found it because I had.
Do you know any people I'm meeting on the streets, everyday people that are just saying straight up, they know it's a hoax, they know the COVID thing's bullshit. It doesn't matter what president's in, that it's all big game, it's all part of the same network, the same side of the same coin or whatever, two sides. Everybody knows. Everybody's awake.
Well, yeah, there's no dead bodies all over the place. Come on.
Well, there should be. There should be.
To be shut down like all this, yeah. We should have pandemic,
What's really sad is I see a lot of people in their cars with friggin' masks on, and I'm talking like face shields and everything, and I'm thinking, this is you might as well die and get in the coffin. I see these old people, husband and wife, sitting on a park bench, but nobody around, and I'm like, listen, why don't you just drop dead, because you'd be helping out everybody, really, honestly.
Yeah,
like,
I see this lady here.
You're not living life. You're not
by herself, no one near her, masking, like she's masked up, she's walking, barely can get through the day, and I'm like, who is that on for?
You're not even living your life at that point. You're just like wasting time, valuable time.
I know. I was in line behind a elderly lady, or in front of, and I could hear her trying to breathe through that stupid mask. I was like, oh my God. I was like, here, you can go in front of me, ma'am. You need to get to your car and wherever you get to where you can take that damn thing off your face. Go.
We have like a minute left, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you, Jonathan.
Hey, Great talking with you guys. And then, like I said, let's talk about after the show about Sunday.
Yeah, definitely hang out. Don't leave. And what's going on this afternoon, guys? I'm sorry I missed Wednesday. Things were crazy here.
Nothing.
Maybe James True if he feels like it.
Well, I can make that happen if it's possible. I'm not sure. I've been, like I said, it's been a crazy week here. We'll talk about that off the air too. Anyway, but yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you all in chat. Extra hugs for Kelly.
Definitely.
You are part of the tribe always.
You're a great mom, Kelly. You did the right thing.
Yep. All right, guys. Love y'all. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Jonathan. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Walter. Thank you, Zach. Doctor.
Roger.
Oh, I gotta go watch Spies Like Us now.
Right?
Oh yeah, exactly. You got the reference. Great.
That was it. Dead on.
All right. Love you guys. Make sure you check us out next week right here on Truth Frequency Radio, simulcast across the plane via restream. Thanks to our patrons over on Patreon every Tuesday and Friday on the Ironworx. Love you guys. Be good. Be well. Bye-bye.